Welcome to my hike across Scotland. We're doing 136 miles on the John Muir Way, 96 miles on the West Highland Way, and another 96 or so on the Great Glen. Welcome to my hike across Scotland. There's actually going to be 3 hikes this time. I'm starting today with the John Muir Way, tracing John Muir's steps from his childhood home here in Dunbar all the way to the west coast of Scotland, where he caught a boat to the United States and became the John Muir that we all know and appreciate his efforts in creating the national park system with President Roosevelt and really falling in love with Yosemite. Just fantastic. So what I'm going to be walking Scotland is the first hike is 130 miles for John Muir. Welcome to the town of Dunbar and the North Sea. All right, we've made it to John Muir's birthplace. This is where he grew up. I just visited the museum, which is in his original birth home, right in the center of town, right along the main street. Very nice museum. It's actually pretty interesting. In front of me is the North Sea. How about that? We're as far east in Scotland as pretty much you can go. The town of Dunbar, as you can tell from the harbor and the boats, it's a fishing town. Over here, the remains of the Dunbar Castle. And then more harbor breakwater, which is really, this is a really cool harbor. And there's an entrance at that end, and then an entrance right here as well. And then obviously out to the North Sea, or the Perth of Forth, which we will see much more of tomorrow. All right, here I am at the campsite, and the excitement is in front. Again, this is the North Sea, so I'll come back and you can see a freighter out here. For John Muir. All right, we are leaving Dunbar. It's low tide right now, so the harbor is behind me. I was all down there, the castle down there yesterday. Today's segment number 1 for us, is segment 9 in the book, but this is the true route that John Muir took in order to go from his home, childhood home, to the west side of the island to catch a boat to the United States. So we're going in his path. Section 1 for us, Dunbar, that's right here in the Dunbar Castle, to North Berwick. It's about 24 kilometers, 15 miles. And that's what we have ahead of us. And we're going to be walking along the coast here. This is the North Sea. That island out there, Copper Island, I think. All right, here I go. New country, new hike, day 1. Got all the jitters out. All right, it's low tide, and what this allows us to do is take a look. I read somewhere that John Muir really enjoyed playing in the caves that are underneath that cliff there, which are only accessible during low tide. Boy, growing up in a place like this would be fantastic. I'm sure I would have been hurt a lot more than I was, but I would have really enjoyed it. I'm down on the beach. Look at this. All right, for those of you who have done this before, no big deal. For me, this is a big deal. Beautiful runway here. This is a natural tidal pool right here. How great. So I figured I'd take some time and just walk with the camera in this beautiful view of the North Sea. What is amazing is how basically flat the rest of the landscape is. Straight ahead, that large mound, that's the Law. That is the end of our hike today. That's just outside of North Berwick, and hopefully I will have enough energy to climb that today. If not, I'll do it tomorrow morning. But today, you know, it all depends on the weather. Just so you know, I've got the rain cover on. This thing is not nearly as big as the rain cover makes it look out to be. Well, I could get used to this. First, we got the golf course right here. People playing up. Golf clubs are just different here. You got people teeing off up top, probably waiting for me to get through the fairway, although the group ahead is holding things up too. So there's 3 reasons you come to Scotland: hiking, scotch, and golf. Problem is you can't do all of them at the same time. They're all day activities. When I say scotch, I don't mean just drinking scotch. I mean touring the distilleries and really learning it and becoming much more knowledgeable about the process. So it's not just a drinking. And golf you got to do during the day, and hike you got to do during the day. Courses may be different, the golfers are still the same. Did I say that already? Boy, I can't imagine anything nicer than this. I'm turning on kind of one last time along the coast here. Whew, it's a beautiful walk. But I have a feeling we are going to leave the North Sea. The water we see from here on is going to be the Firth of Forth, which is kind of just the inside of the, I think it was a copper rock. For John Muir. Right, moving right along. Good morning, by the way. We are in the John Muir Country Park, and this is all kind of a moss, seaweed type of a thing. Really beautiful land. Again, we're still inside of everything, right? So we have the island that we're heading toward. Can't see the law quite from this angle. Scooting around behind the ridge line is the North Sea. We got the golf club, and behind me, that smoke, that's that grain elevator that is right next to the campsite. So that's where I started this morning. Totally cool. I love this. The ground just feels fantastic. Very easy hike, and you can see a lot of people are out here. This is a well-used area. All right, I just came off the beach. Luckily, there's not really a good sign to come off the beach. It just felt like I'd gone too far, and I turned in, and I went about literally like 15 yards, 30 yards too far, and got really lucky. So I'm coming inland now, and immediately we're met with a circus of some kind. Wow, it's pretty cool. Nice. I wanted to turn on to show these tank barriers. And in Switzerland, it was the Toblerone Trail because they look like the peaks off the Toblerone chocolate bar. There's no signage or anything on these, but because we have seen the video from the Toblerone Trail in Switzerland along Lake Geneva, you know, check it out. They're growing swans here on this farm. All right, I'm heading out of East Linton. Had a great lunch at a pub in town, the Crown and something or other. They had power outlets at all the tables. The Masters was on TV. I had a Cullen skink and some chicken wings and cask ale. So cask ale, if you haven't heard of that, it's very British, usually room temperature, but basically it's a hand pump. Right, well, we're coming up to the highest point of the hike, which is right out of town. I'm probably just only a kilometer or so out. Whew, what a great view. So we're going straight ahead. That's the Law, which is at the border of North Berwick. To the right is the North Sea. And you can see that smoke in the grain tower, so that's where I started this morning. And then, so, thankfully, the Law is a lot closer. Oh, and there's the train now. That was fortuitous. All right, welcome back. We are 2 miles from the finish line, and I turned on because it's a great shot of the Law. No, not the police. That is a volcanic plug that is called the Law for some reason. I'll put that in the show notes. You got a chance, spin around and look at this beautiful flower field behind me. But one last thing, I saw a wild turkey. I've seen a ton of duck, and I assume pheasant or grouse or something like that. So if John Muir and family did jump in the wagon and take a horse, they had plenty of food to choose from. I don't know that if you're walking in the other direction, the direction that the book says to go in, where this is the last segment, I'm not sure you get that feeling. I really think it's unique to start off when John did and go in the same direction. John, like, you know, we're on first name basis now. All right. Have a good day, and I'll see you tomorrow.